What's up, Metal Thrashing Buddy Show, episode 34. We're back, and honestly, it's crazy to say we're back, but here's a little catch up on what I was doing. I took roughly a month off of the podcast / YouTube show because I was just busy. I had played our most recent show on July 31st, took the week of the 4th of July off, and then decided to just take a nice month off and really reevaluate what I've got going on in my schedule, pursuing a new job, etc., etc. I don't want to bore you too much with that. But anyways, what matters, we're back. What's up, everybody? Episode 34 of the Metal Thrashing Buddy Show, the unscripted podcast where I dive into music, metal music, the life of metal musicians, and all things hard rock and metal. Anyway, I'm not going to spend too much time whining about how busy I've been and what I've been doing, but I really want to hop back in with this hot episode to talk about the Ghost in Amon Amarth tour that is running through the U.S. right now, and I had just saw on the 4th the White River Amphitheater in Auburn, Washington, and this was my first time ever seeing Ghost, and I think I'm going to title this episode, or I guess what it will be titled, is Ghost is the new live metal band to see, or the new live rock band to see, something along those lines, because that was arguably the greatest show I've ever seen, and I was left in awe from the introduction to the show and to the outro of the show. And let me dive in a little bit to my history about live music and attending live shows, and this is what I think makes my opinion valid. Everyone's got their own opinion. Who am I? I'm just some asshole YouTuber, podcaster who talks about heavy music and rock music. But hear me out here, okay? So, I think that Ghost is the premier rock act to see right now, and it's worth... They might be the premier act in any genre to see right now for the money. I think pit tickets were $150 a ticket, which is absurd. Typically, I'm a front pit ticket kind of guy, and looking at it from other major acts, you're looking at Megadeth being like $350 a ticket, Kiss not having a pit, and just seats all the way up. You're looking at $500 to $800 to $1,000 a ticket sometimes, and the $150 a ticket for this show was the best money I've ever spent on a live performance. And it's a weird thing to spend that much money on a live show, isn't it? Because that's your hard-earned money. That's like a day of work. And that's a day of work if you get paid pretty decent, if you're netting that, taking it home directly. And it's even hard for me to get out and go to live shows, especially when I am playing my own shows so much, and, you know, you've got children and a life and, you know, a podcast and a YouTube channel. But I highly encourage you, if you can, on this Ghost in Amon Amarth tour, to go check it out. So I've been to these shows, like I was saying, like, my entire life. My first concert was Kiss in the late 90s. My second concert was Rush, I believe, in 2002. Then we're digging into like Iron Maiden in 2007. I've seen Iron Maiden 3 times. I've seen Kiss probably at this point 7 or 8 times. Kiss is arguably my favorite band. And dude, I have to even say that arguably now after seeing Ghost. Judas Priest, I had saw it in 2018 on the Firepower tour, and I thought, this is the epitome of, if maybe not the best live show, which Their pyro show is fucking fantastic. Their lighting is fantastic. At the very least by performance, because they're fucking metal gods, quite literally. But Ghost kind of overall in every category, out of all of these incredible bands I've seen, knocked it out of the park in every category. And let me break this down by category, I guess. Value, like I was saying, ticket prices, number one, in my opinion. Performance-wise, just the ability to play their instruments. I stared all show and waited for a mistake, didn't get one. Every single guitar solo, peeping like a hawk, no mistakes. Everything they did, I guess show-wise, I'll just say show for lack of a better term, but let's say choreography. Everything about it was planned out. That's probably like Kiss's biggest asset, is that everything is this huge big plan, and the stage is extravagant, and hell, I'd even give the Ghost stage a 10 out of 10. It's a backdrop like a church, can duck out, very reminiscent and a lot like Bruce Dickinson of Iron Maiden, if you've ever seen them. Bruce likes to run around his little thing, runs up some stairs, runs around the top of the stage. Song changes, he changes clothes. Very few songs he'll rock like the same outfit. Might do like a few songs, and then if there's a big theme song, he's going to go change into a theme outfit. That's what Ghost does, and it is absolutely insane how blown away I was to see a band that was really hitting the scene in 2009. Even referenced it in the performance, was playing El Corazon, my stomping grounds in Seattle, and in 2009, and then making their way to Climate Pledge Arena and amphitheaters and arenas all over the world, which is insane to see. And like a good buddy of mine, former guest on the podcast, or on the show I should say, my co-guitarist Jaden in Dark Harbor was like, yeah, it makes you think that Ghost has been around since like the early 90s, but they've really only been around since barely before 2010. So let's give them over 10 years for sure, but that is not a long time to explode the way they've exploded. Yeah, my mind is blown. Big, huge bummer. Don't attack me in the comments here, especially on YouTube. I didn't make it in time for Amon Amarth, and I wasn't too pressured on it because I've seen Amon Amarth on their Surtur Rising tour 2011. It was just them. They played the entire new album. They played the greatest hits, and it was fucking incredible. They did the old school intermission thing, which was rad. Just the new album, a break, intermission, and then the greatest hits. So you kind of ended up just seeing the greatest hits at the show. I was outside. I had to work that day. I had to take a quick nap before I left. It was a long-ass day, but worth every second of it. But I unfortunately got to enjoy Amon Amarth from outside the amphitheater waiting in line. But with that being said, every second of Ghost was the greatest rock or metal show I've been to in my entire life. And I will argue that it is the best value experience or performance, whether it be Taylor Swift, Lizzo, Kiss, Iron Maiden, any band out there, I'm going to put Ghost toe-to-toe with. And I'm going to put them up there as now becoming one of my favorite bands of all time, because it's just absolutely mind-blowing to me that this band has done what they've done and frontman Tobias Fjorge, hopefully I'm saying that correctly, has done with this concept. And it was like going to a really, really fun and nice satanic gospel singing church. Almost. It was fucking incredible. Like I said, music's perfect, performance is perfect, outfit changes, fire, smoke, explosions. And I think that in this industry, in rock and metal, the live show is somewhat dying, or was dying. After this Ghost tour, I think it's coming back significantly. After seeing what Bring Me the Horizon's doing, lighter bands like Fall Out Boy now, and there are bands that are bringing the big live show back, and it's no knock to the bands as much as it is to the changing in the industry and the climate of heavy music or alternative music. But the live show, the entertainment value has taken a back seat to making ends meet. And it's because everything is too damn expensive. It is $100 for 2 bags of groceries, like super commonly. Generalizing, of course, but roughly like around that, honestly. Everything is so expensive. Houses cost insane amounts more than your salary. Even if you make good money, you're talking at least like really good money, 6 figures. They're costing 6 times that sometimes for a house that used to be $200,000. Everything costs too much. It costs a ton to tour right now. No one's hidden from that. You can check out Dean Lamb from Archspire's video on how much it costs to do their tour with Whitechapel. And I highly recommend it because it is a mind-blowing kind of look into the industry. But everything is too damn expensive. Everything costs a ton. With that being said, there are bands out there doing the damn thing. And I credit that to coming up with music that is reachable to more than just the metal or hard rock audience. And I think Ghost has done that, and I think that's why they get the hate that they get. And it's not for every metalhead. It's more so, and like quote me on this if you will, if you're into classic rock, and I don't want to call Def Leppard classic rock by any means, but I'm going to throw that in there too. But let's look at Blue Oyster Cult. Even bands more like REO Speedwagon and Def Leppard. These big arena rock anthem bands, or like a little bit spookier like Blue Oyster Cult, that's the heart and soul of Ghost. And their music's really more reflective of the theme of the story they're telling behind that record. And I think that kind of music, especially with the range that they can play within that, is what allows them to reach the audience that they've reached. And when you reach an audience that big and you play venues that big, you can bring things like fire, smoke, etc. It's really tough to put on a Broadway-esque or A-level artist, Hollywood, whatever you want to call it, top 40 pop sensation performance to club shows. And in bigger cities, you can do it with bigger clubs, I know, but it's really tough. Most people don't. And it's tough to even bring any production value aside from a halfway decent light show, let alone to make it sound as good as it did. We've all got to give Ghost their flowers for what they're doing in the industry. And I think as well, it's super important to rock and roll and heavy metal overall that they're doing what they're doing. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much my recap of that. It was an absolutely fucking incredible experience. And no knock to bands that don't bring that kind of production because, like I said, I can't bring it in my own band. I just play club shows and club shows, small venue shows, what have you. But bands like Ghost remind me what the end goal can be. And having it still be done in the past 10 years, roughly, really, gives me a ton of hope for music, especially alternative heavy music, things with dark themes. And I highly recommend go check out this Ghost tour. Go check out Ghost Live. As soon as I was leaving the show, I was like, I cannot wait to see this band again. And I'm so sorry, Amon Amarth, that I was not able to catch your entire set. When I literally got in, they were finishing up and wrapping up End of Twilight of the Thunder God, which is my favorite song. But it happens, man. Everyone knows the big tour concert attending grind. But yeah, incredible. Go see Ghost. Worth every penny. The show is back. Also, I want to say that. The show, this podcast, this YouTube series is coming back in a little bit different way now. And I'm deciding that as of just now, really. But this show, since I switched to YouTube, has done incredibly well on YouTube. Thanks so much, guys. Thanks so much to the listeners hanging out still on Spotify and everywhere you stream your podcasts. But this is the change I'm kind of making with this. I am making this more YouTube video friendly rather than podcast friendly. I would love to get interviews all the time, and I think that was something that burnt me out and why I needed that break, was that it's hard to live a full-time working life and book interviews with people and arrange your schedule and do parenting things and do work things and improve things out of there, and also align your schedule with people for interviews and stuff like that. That's not to say there's not going to be the occasional long form episode, but for now, I'm going to keep it short form. I'm still going to post it on the podcasting places, so you can listen anywhere you want to audio wise, but this is going to be a big YouTube thing. You can see me and we can kind of chat in the comments and we can talk together. MetalThrashingBuddy at everything, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram. I post the most on YouTube, post the most on TikTok as far as my guitar content, my music content. And just a huge thank you to all of you for checking this out on the big comeback, episode 34, that quick recap of just why Ghost is taking over the live rock performance. And that's what I'll call it. And thanks so much for sticking around. If you haven't yet, subscribe to the channel. New episodes of the podcast every week. Another thing I'm changing is I'm just going to release this weekly and not really dedicate a certain day to it. I'm going to do these videos when I have time. I'm going to adjust my content life around my working life and parenting life, and that is way comfortable with me. And I just got to say, guys, it feels good to be talking metal with you again. This is the Metal Thrashing Buddy Show. Hit subscribe on the YouTube. Comment, what do you think? Who do you think is the greatest live band right now? Are you looking forward to seeing Ghost? What do you think of Ghost? Love you guys. See you on the next one.